Welcome to Under Pressure 15 Minutes with Andrew and Ben.
We are having an amazing interview today with Blake Corum, the running back for the Los Angeles Rams and former running back for Michigan college football.
We have this podcast because we want people to understand how to handle pressure and what athletes go through every day and how pressure affects them on a day-to-day basis.
I was inspired to start this podcast under pressure because I will talk to Blake a couple of months back. And when I asked him what does it feel like to be under pressure and what it's like to be a professional athlete and deal with the thousands and thousands of fans surrounding you, making noise, the people that hate you, the people that love you, and how you have to live up to those expectations. And now that we have Blake on here, we will be asking him those questions of how you can deal with that.
Awesome. Let's get it.
All right. So our first question is, in the 2024 Rose Bowl game, the game was tied and went into the overtime, and Michigan had the ball first. You guys need to score, obviously, because touchdown means the game will keep going, and they have to go for a touchdown as well. Pretty much everyone in the state, we were there. Pretty much everyone in the stadium knew the ball was going to you. I'm sure you had a lot of pressure of you in that moment. What was your mind like when you had the ball?
Oh man, that's a great question. That's one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game I ever played in. My mindset was I wanted the ball. For me, I've trained my whole life for situations like that. I've trained my whole life to be the guy that my teammates and coaches rely on in situations that involve pressure. And I'm comfortable with myself that if I don't make the play, say I do fail, I'm comfortable with failing. And so in that situation, I wanted the ball, but my mindset was never about failing. It was always about doing the next right thing. And the first touch I got went for about 9 yards. And then next thing you know, the second touch went for a touchdown. But also it wasn't all about me. My offensive line had to block, tight ends had to block, receivers had to block, and I had to make a special play. But I want the ball. I love pressure because pressure builds you. And even through losses, even through trials, pressure will still build you and build you up. But I want the ball in my hand at the end of the game.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, you just came back from your season-ending knee injury, and I would just like to ask you a question. How did you keep a positive mindset, and how did you bounce back from that season-ending knee injury? And did it affect you? Did it not?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ben. It definitely affected me. It affected me a lot. So to say, yes, I bounced back, but also just to be honest, there were definitely some dark times through that 7-month recovery where honestly I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to go to rehab. It was like my days just kept repeating and repeating because I was doing the same thing over and over. I couldn't walk for 6 weeks, and I couldn't work my legs out for a long time, and so there were some dark times. But I have the right group of friends around me. I had at the time great girlfriend, now wife, that kept motivating me, and it turned out to be the best thing that could ever happen to me. That season-ending injury allowed me to come back to Michigan and go win a national championship, because if it wasn't for that, I was going to go on and go ahead to the NFL. But God does things for a reason. I'm thankful for that injury. There's definitely trials and tribulations through that. But ultimately, it made me a better man at the end of the day.
Inspiring. Thank you.
Our next question is, what is one thing that professional athletes have to go through that no one really talks about?
We go through a lot. I would say one thing we go through that you can let it affect you or you cannot let it affect you, depending on what you choose. But a lot of people don't view us as people. They just view us as athletes or players or entertainment. And so therefore, especially nowadays with, all the betting that's going on, say you have a good game, but you don't get it one more yard to hit their bet. Now they're in your DMs talking, just saying things that no one should say to anyone. And And so I would say that's the biggest thing that athletes go through is we're people at the end of the day. Yes, we're athletes. Yes, we like entertaining people. We like when people watch. But at the end of the day, we're just like you. You know what I'm saying? We're human beings. So I would say that's something we go through.
Yeah, thank you. Next question. Well, obviously, you, Blake, now that you're in the NFL, you've made it farther than most people can imagine and most people dream of. And I would just like to ask, what's the best advice you received?
Best advice I received, probably simple, man. And you probably heard it before. I might have told you before, but honestly, dream big. That's so simple. Dream big, but a lot of times people stop dreaming, and you're never too old to dream, and you're never too young to dream. And don't let anyone, and I mean anyone, that could be a parent, that could be a grandparent, that could be a friend, stop you from reaching those dreams, because dreams do come true. But it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of consistency, doing the same things over and over again, outworking yourself, most importantly, but also outworking your competition. And so, like I said, it's so simple. Dream big. Everyone always says it, but a lot of people don't do it. And so that's the biggest piece of advice I had is to dream big.
All right, and for our last question, before we move on to our lightning round, so growing up, many kids dream of going to the pros, or in your case, the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what advice would you give to younger athletes who want to separate themselves from the rest and make it pro?
Yeah, the best advice I would give younger athletes is to compete with yourself. Don't worry about what the man to your left or right is doing. Don't compare. In today's society, in today's world, everyone wants to compare themselves to someone else, right? And so don't do that, because that can get you sidetracked off of your main mission, and that's your dream, whatever your dream is. And so compete with yourself each and every day. Try to get 1% better each and every day. Do the right thing and be consistent in everything you're doing. What did they say? How you do anything is how you do everything. I believe that's what they say. And so, being consistent with your homework, being consistent in school, being consistent with making your bed, cleaning your room, being consistent in practice, and which will lead to games. So just being consistent in life is what's going to get you to reach your dreams. And so that's what I would say. Just compete with yourself. Don't worry about anyone else, and you'll get to where you want to go eventually.
Thank you. Now on to our lightning round. Blake, what's your favorite pregame meal?
Oh, pasta with red sauce and Alfredo sauce, a little mix.
Who inspired you to play football?
My dad, he put me in football at the age of 5.5, 6. So my dad inspired me.
Of all the road stadiums you've played in, which was the most intense?
I got to go back to college. Penn State. Penn State is white out, stripe out, whatever it is. It's hard to hear in that stadium.
And our last question is, what is your favorite Jim Harbaugh quote?
Who's got it better than us? And he said, nobody.
All right, thank you so much, Blake, for your time. And we really appreciate you answering all of our questions. And we wish you the best as your NFL career goes on.
Nah, thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad you decided to attack, handling pressure, how you handle pressure instead of running from it, man. That's very exciting, man. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you guys started this podcast at such a young age.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing. So, like you said, just let me know if you guys ever want me back on.
Thank you so much, Blake. And hopefully you do well. Go Blue and go Rams.
Nah,
Go Blue.
Go Blue, go Rams.
Go Blue.
All right, yeah.
All right, I'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ben, what did you learn from Blake Corum?
What I learned from Blake Corum is that if you want to be a big athlete, if you want to go to the NFL, you want to go to the MLB, you want to go to the NBA, you have to have that killer mindset where if you don't care who your competition is, you don't care who's in your way, you're going to dream big and you're going to go get that dream, because that separates you from the millions of others trying to take your spot in the big leagues.
Yeah, I think something that stood out is that he said he loves pressure.
Yeah, loves pressure. He needs to.
I think this is Billie Jean King quote. She said, pressure is a privilege, And I think that resembles what Blake said to us, because I think he stated how much he loved pressure and he loves nerves, and that's what builds him. And I think that is what I learned from Blake Corum.
Same here. He is always positive. He always has this positive mindset of where he's going to get this done, and he doesn't care who's in his way. And if he sets his mind to something, he's going to go get that. And I believe that's very important when trying to achieve your dream, like someone trying to go to the NFL. And that's what separates him from most of the competition, the millions of people trying to go to the NFL, because he dreams big and he does what he says.
Yeah, I think something that stuck out to me was definitely his positivity. That was very impressive. Do you think this resembles what other athletes do, or is it just a special thing about him?
I think if you're trying to make it big anywhere, I believe you're going to have that killer mindset where you're going to get this done and you don't care who's in your way. And I believe most people, like Blake, if you're in the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, MLB, I think the top big leagues, you need to have that mindset to separate yourself from the millions of others that are your competition trying to take your spot.
All right, Ben, let's make this snappy. What did you think of the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl was very boring, in my opinion. I don't think it was a great game, but I think it was
one
very
of the
cool.
worst, you could say.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he really underwhelmed me. But I think Kenneth Walker and Jason Myers were 2 MVPs of the game.
Also, shout out to Christian Gonzalez on
Shout out
the
to that dog.
Patriots. Best game he's ever played in his life. A lot of pass breakups. He stopped a lot of game-winning touchdowns for the Seahawks to end it as early as they could have. And I just believe Christian Gonzalez had to put his team on his back, as they say.
Thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for watching this podcast. We also wanted to remind our viewers that we will be going to the All-Star Game. I think it's going to be a very cool opportunity for podcast and to networking and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say thank you to Blake Corum one more time for being on our podcast and giving thoughtful answers and just being an amazing person overall. Thank you, Blake. Stay tuned for the next one, and we will see you guys later. Bye.
Respect.